Okay, I think it's time for demonstration. I don't know whether the tool is here on this laptop. Okay, here you go. The yellow fields are data entry fields, so you can enter whatever you want here. It doesn't show here. Can be called sample, and you can give it any name you want, but if you or another descriptor as well. Let's just say we start without any PPE, so we want to call it no PPE, and we just add random numbers. Say just we go for 10 pascals and 100 grams per mole, and just use tough denels, just one. The general population as well. Okay, in these denels, I think they are rather low. I don't know how many people have been fiddling around with denels, but I hope these are not the ones that you'll be getting from your cofoamers. Because as you can see here, it's all red. Okay, this gets better. This is all red, and you can enter here into the comments field some words on maybe where the denels come from or whatever you want to annotate this scenario. So of course we have now the option, we don't want to use PPE. We can just go and use maximum rate. And then it starts to work on it and lowers the application rate to whatever makes this here 1, or there's also a rounding error, to make it all 1, the overall RCR. So if this looks good to somebody, they can then save this assessment somewhere, save as. You don't need to do this now. You can copy and paste this table here into a document of your own, or you can use a printout and make to document your assessments. You can use, okay, just create a CSR now. Because we are all green there, and now we got a progress bar to keep you all surprised here. And it's working. And has been successfully created. So then we go back into the folder from where we started, and lo and behold, we've got 2 Word documents that we can just open. And this is now what it looks like, the description, the maximum use rate, all kinds of things that need to be in there. It now has all the scenarios in there. You can delete some if you want, and there's a pretty easy way of doing that. But just go into the. No, that's the wrong one. You can select some of these scenarios and then delete them, and then you hit F9 to have all the fields refreshed, and then it'll be all in the correct order. You have to do the same thing then in chapter 10 as well. Going back to the normal layout. I think it's self-explanatory for the most part. And many people of you have worked with CSRs and have seen all these tables that need to be filled out. Here's something on PPE and the exposure concentrations, and this gives you the exposure estimates and with the explanation no PPE. You can just scroll through all the models and find out what it's all about. And then chapter 9 containing the risk characterization, you see it's all 1 or close to 1. Just one scenario after another. And in the same fashion as I described before, you can just delete scenarios that you don't need. somebody might tell you, we don't do seed treatment with that co-formulant, just highlight it and erase it as you wish. Okay. We got amateurs and outdoor and so forth. You can then decide, I want one other option. I don't want to reduce the use rate. I would rather add a layer of PPE. You can hit the button reset to default, so it will all be set back to where we started from. So there's no PPE here, and the application rates are still at default. And you can have here pull down menus. The best option, as I said, is gloves during mixing and loading. It's most efficient and the least nuisance to the operators. You cannot, it's not funny to work on full PPE the entire day in a greenhouse. So occupational hygienists will always prefer application rates reduced rather than having to don a full chemical suit, which is normally you need an exemption for that to have that allowed on your workforce. So, and you see that this does the trick already for the solid outdoor scenario. Doing the same thing over and over again. And just be happy. Okay. So we still got one scenario, the liquid indoor. Because we have 10 Pascal vapor pressure, that's not high volatile, but it gives rise to some vapor. And you can see we might need some respiratory protection for this one. So we just give them that. And we have the two choices that also TRA offers. You got a 90% reduction, and you also got a 95% reduction, protection factor 10 or 20. Just 10 and that's good. And also apply the same thing to the guy in the bagging scenario. And there's one problem, that's the worker, because you cannot protect the worker. That really calls then for a reduced application rate. So hit the maximum rate button. And you can tell that whenever a worker is involved, this is to be harvested, then the application rate has to be reduced below this 1 kilogram per hectare. But 0.88 is still quite a lot. This is still, it would be equivalent to the majority of the product consisting of that particular co-formulant. So we're talking solvent or a solid carrier material. And with that, you can go and say, okay, let's say, call it gloves. CSR. There's no protective mechanism within that tool that prevents you from overwriting your assessments. So if you don't change the name here, you'll be overwriting your old scenario. So be creative with naming these scenarios. And here we go. We got, I'll just open this one to show you that. From the application rate, from that you define, it also there follows the used amount of substance per worker per day. It's just a calculation of you got 20 hectares and you got so many kilogram per hectare. And that's what comes out of how much substance does an individual farmer, in this case, use. That's all calculated by the tool, and the tables are populated by the tool. And at some point, yeah, here you got the risk mitigation measures, the risk management measures, and here the gloves show up with a protective factor of 100. Explanation: to be worn during mixing and loading. So it's all, if you choose this option, it will populate this table accordingly. Let's go down to the liquid indoor scenario. explorer scenarios 3, and since the volatility was rather high, here it calls for the gloves during mixing and loading, and also the RPE protective factor 10 to be worn during mixing and loading and application. So. Close this thing. Within this model file, you can find some basic instructions. You can find some information on the models used, some general assumptions, and also some specific assumptions that are used within the particular applications.